Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you do not miss any video lesson from RAU'S IAS.
Hello and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice. Here we will take up MCQs based on important news and articles that are featured in the Hindu and Indian Express newspaper. Topics for today's discussion are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. First question of today's session is based on this news which featured on the Hindu newspaper, page number 4. Now this news is related to upcoming MCD's election in New Delhi and talks about how stabilizing MCD's finances would be the biggest test for winning party. As you know, 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment has been recurring themes in UPSC preliminary examination. As in 2015, UPSC asked question based on fundamental objective of Panchayati Raj system. Now let's take up the practice question. Question is, with reference to the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, consider the following statements. You have to find incorrect statements. The first statement says, the Act provides that President may specify an area to be an industrial township and in such a case, a municipality may not be constituted. Now this statement is incorrect. As you know that this Act has added a new part, that is 9A, to the Constitution of India. This part is entitled as the municipalities and consists of provisions from Article 243P to Article 243ZG. Now this Act provides for the constitution of the three types of municipalities. First is Nagar Panchayat for a transitional area. Second is a municipal council for a smaller urban area. And third is a municipal corporation for larger urban area. But there is one exception. If there is an urban area where municipal services are being provided by an industrial establishment, then the governor may specify that area to be an industrial township, and in such case a municipality may not be constituted. So here in this statement President was mentioned, and as we know governor is the authority to specify such area, so this statement is incorrect. Second statement says the Act provides for the 1/3 reservation of seats for scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes in every municipality. Now this statement is again incorrect, as the reservation of 1/3 is provided for women, while the Act provides for the reservation of seats for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in every municipality in proportion of their population to the total population in the municipal area. Now third statement says, in case of dissolution, a fresh election to constitute a municipality shall be completed before the expiry of a period of 6 months from the date of its dissolution. Now this statement is correct. So as we had to find incorrect statements, our answer would be A, that is 1 and 2 only. Now answer for this previous year question is C, that is 1 and 3 only. Now this news is related to the response by the governor of Telangana against the allegations by the ruling government that she is delaying the passage of bills by delaying her consent. Now as you know, the process of legislation is an important theme for UPSC examination. As you can see here, in 2018 UPSC has asked question based on money bill. Now let's take up today's practice question. Question is, with reference to legislative procedure in state legislature, consider the following statements. You have to identify the correct statements. Statement 1 says, when money bill is presented to the governor, he can return the bill for reconsideration of the state legislature. Now this statement is incorrect, as when a money bill gets passed from state legislature, it is presented to the governor. He may either give his assent, withhold his assent, or reserve the bill for the presidential assent, but he cannot return the bill for reconsideration of the state legislature. In normal circumstances, the governor gives his assent to a money bill as it is introduced in the state legislature with his prior permission. Now, second statement says the legislative assembly can override the legislative council by passing the bill for the second time. Now, this statement is correct, as the constitution does not provide for the mechanism of joint sitting of two houses of the state legislature to resolve any kind of deadlock between them. The legislative assembly can override the legislative council by passing the bill for the second time and not vice versa. When a bill is passed by the assembly for the second time and transmitted to the legislative council, if the legislative council rejects the bill again or proposes amendments that are not acceptable to the legislative assembly or does not pass the bill within 1 month, then the bill is deemed to have been passed by both the houses in the form in which it was passed by the legislative assembly for the second time. So yes, thus the legislative assembly can override the legislative council. So as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be B, that is 2 only. Now answer for this previous year question is C. Inspiration for our third question is based on this article which featured in The Hindu newspaper, page number 6. And this news is related to an event in which High Court of Karnataka has urged the Law Commission of India to have a rethink on the criteria for age of consent. Now, as you know, various statutory, non-statutory and constitutional bodies are important theme for UPSC examination, as in 2014, a question was asked about who among the following has authority to increase the number of judges in the Supreme Court of India. Now let us have a look at today's practice MCQ. Question is, with respect to Law Commission in India, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says, it is a statutory body and works for legal reforms. Now this statement is incorrect, as Law Commission is neither a constitutional body nor a statutory body. It is an executive body. In words of Law Ministry, the Law Commission of India is a non-statutory body that is constituted by a notification of the Government of India, with definite terms of reference to carry out research in the field of law. Now, second statement says it is composed of legal experts and headed by a Chief Justice of India. Now, this statement is again incorrect, as indeed it is composed of legal experts, but it is headed by a retired Supreme Court judge or a Chief Justice of High Court and not by the serving Chief Justice of India. The third statement says the recommendation of commission are not binding on the government. Now this statement is correct, as the recommendation of the commission are not binding on the government. They may be accepted or rejected. Action on the said recommendations depend on the ministries, departments which are concerned with the subject matter of the recommendations. So as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be C, that is 3 only. Now answer for this previous year question is B, that is Parliament. Our next question is based on this news which featured in The Hindu newspaper, page number 12. This news talks about the counter argument by the traders and artisans related to Pashmina shawls against the allegation made by custom officials that Pashmina shawls contains Shahtoosh guard hair. Now previously UPSC has asked question based on important international organization related to the conservation of wild flora and fauna. As in 2015, it has asked question based on IUCN and CITES. Now let us have a look at today's practice MCQ. Question is, consider the following statements and you have to identify the correct statements. Statement 1 says Pashmina is the fine undercoat fiber obtained from the Tibetan antelope known locally as chiru. Now before attempting the question, let us have a look at this picture. Now Pashmina is obtained from a breed of mountain goats, scientific name Capra hircus. They are mainly found on the Changthang plateau in Tibet and parts of Ladakh. Manufacture of Pashmina is a largely unorganized cottage and handicraft industry, providing employment and livelihood to approximately 6 lakh people, most notably to local skilled villagers and artisans in Kashmir. Whereas Shahtoosh is the fine undercoat fiber obtained from the Tibetan antelope locally known as chiru. Chiru is a species living mainly in the northern parts of the Changthang Plateau in Tibet. As they offer high levels of smoothness and warmth, Shahtoosh shawls is highly expensive commodity. Due to high demand, there was decline in number of chirus mainly owing to the illegal poaching. And that is when in 1979, CITES, that is Convention on International Trades in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna, included chiru in its list, which means there was a ban on the export and trade of Shahtoosh shawl and scarves. And that is why we have taken a previous year question based on CITES and IUCN. Now let us have a look at the practice question. Statement 1 says, Pashmina is the fine undercoat fiber obtained from the Tibetan antelope locally known as chiru. Now this statement is incorrect as Shahtoosh is the undercoat fiber obtained from chiru. Now second statement says, chiru is listed as endangered in IUCN Red Book data list. Now this statement is again incorrect as in 2017, the chiru goat species was assessed as near threatened by the IUCN because their current population can only be maintained with continued high levels of protection in its natural range and strict controls on trade of the shawls made from its underfur. So as we had to find the correct statement, our answer would be D, that is neither 1 nor 2. Now correct answer for the previous year question is B, that is 2 and 3 only. Our next question is based on the news which featured in the Indian Express newspaper page number 11, where Hubli Dharwad Municipal Corporation has gave permission for Tipu Jayanti event. Important personalities from medieval and modern India has been recurring theme in UPSC preliminary examination. As in 2015, UPSC has asked question related to Babur. Now let us have a look at today's practice MCQ. Question is, with reference to the Mysore ruler Tipu Sultan, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says, Haidari and Farooqi were copper coins issued by him in the empire. Now this statement is incorrect as he introduced a number of administrative innovations during his rule, including a new coinage system. The peculiar characteristics of the coins of Tipu Sultan is the names given to them. Tipu Sultan named each and every coin issued by him and no two names were the same. So indeed, Haidari and Farooqi were the coins, but they were not copper coins. While Haidari was a silver coin, Farooqi was a gold coin. Now second statement says Mysorean rocket are the main warfare contribution of Tipu. Now this statement is correct, as he expanded the iron-cased Mysorean rockets and commissioned the military manual Fathul Mujahideen. He deployed the rockets against advances of British forces and their allies during the Anglo-Mysore Wars, including the Battle of Polilur and Siege of Srirangapatnam. Now third statement says subsidiary alliance was imposed in the Mysore state during his reign. Now this statement is incorrect. As you might know, in 4th Anglo-Mysore War, the kingdom of Mysore was attacked by Marathas and the Nizam of Hyderabad. The final battle, the siege of Seringapatam, resulted in the complete defeat of Mysore kingdom. Tipu Sultan died in the war. The Mysore kingdom was restored to the Wadeyar dynasty by a way of the subsidiary alliance. So subsidiary alliance was imposed in the Mysore state during the Wadeyar dynasty. So as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be B, that is 2 only. Now answer for this previous year question is B, that is 3 only. Inspiration for our next question comes from this news which featured in The Indian Express page number 20, and it talks about occurrence of a powerful earthquake in Nepal yesterday. Questions based on important physical phenomena have appeared in UPSC examination. As in 2015, it has asked a question based on reasons for occurrence of tides. Now let us have a look at today's practice MCQ. Question says, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says, the P waves are similar to sound waves and can travel through gaseous, liquid and solid material. Now this statement is correct. As you know, earthquake waves are basically of two types, body waves and surface waves. Body waves are generated due to the release of energy at the focus and move in all directions traveling through the body of Earth. Hence the name body waves. The body waves interact with the surface rocks and generate new set of waves called surface waves. These waves move along the surface. Now there are two types of body waves. They are called P and S waves. P waves moves faster and are the first to arrive at the surface. These are also called primary waves. The P waves are similar to sound waves. They travel through gaseous, liquid and solid materials. Now the second statement says S waves vibrate parallel to the direction of the wave. Now before attempting to decide upon this statement, let us have a look at this picture. This picture depicts the direction of movement of P and S waves. Now this is the direction of the wave, and if you will imagine your hand motion in to and fro direction parallel to the direction of the wave, this resembles the movement of the P wave, whereas when you will consider S wave, this movement of hand will depict the movement of S wave that is perpendicular to the direction of the wave. Now statement says S waves vibrate parallel to the direction of the wave. It is incorrect as they vibrate perpendicular to the direction of the wave. Now third statement says the body waves are the last to report on seismograph is again a incorrect statement as surface waves are the last to report on the seismograph. These waves are more destructive, they cause displacement of rocks and hence the collapse of structures occur. So question asks you to find incorrect statements, so our answer would be B, that is 2 and 3 only. Now answer for previous year question is D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Now inspiration for the last question of the day is based on this news which featured in the Indian Express newspaper page number 21. And this news talks about government giving nod to the final sovereign green bond framework in the line of the budget announcement 2022. As you know, UPSC has been asking questions based on various financial instruments. As in 2016, it has asked question based on IFC Masala bond. So let us take up today's practice MCQ. Question says, consider the following statements regarding green bonds in India. You have to identify the correct statements. Statement 1 says, a green bond is a debt instrument with which capital is being raised to fund green projects. Now this statement is quite obvious, as a green bond is a debt instrument with which capital is being raised to fund green projects, which typically include those relating to renewable energy, clean transportation, sustainable water management, etc. So this statement is correct. Second statement says the cost of issuing green bonds has generally remained lower than other bonds in India. Now this statement is incorrect, because as per the report of RBI, the cost of issuing green bonds has generally remained higher than other bonds in India, largely due to the asymmetric information available. The SEBI has put in place disclosure norms for issuance and listing of green bonds. Now third statement says they typically carry a lower interest rate than the loan offered by the commercial banks. Now this statement is correct, as they typically carry a lower interest rate than the loans offered by the commercial banks. With an increasing focus of foreign investors toward green investment, it could help in reducing the cost of raising capital. So as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be C, that is 1 and 3 only. Now correct answer for previous year question is C, that is both 1 and 2. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.